Hi, everybody. My name is Keith Freeze, and today we are doing a game preview of the LA Kings versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, these lineups are always presented by Daily Faceoff, so go check them out. As you can see, we'll just get right into it. The top forward line for the Toronto Maple Leafs is Matthew Knies with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Matthews and Marner, in my opinion, need to be playing together all the time. Uh, I've said it many times on this channel that if you've got a left shot centerman, I want to have a right shot right winger that they can pass seamlessly forehand to forehand to. And Mitch Marner is the exact kind of right wing player that I currently desire that the Kings had on their team. A playmaking winger, a guy that can get the puck on his stick and off his stick quickly, can run with the center, can even add some scoring. When Mitch Marner is at his best, you can't say anything negative about him, okay? Mitch Marner is awesome. So Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews together on the top line, very, very happy to see that. Just let those guys go out and produce, and they are going to be difficult. They are going to be difficult to keep the puck back in your own hands. They're gonna skate the lights out. They're gonna pass fast, and Matthew Knies is added there to add that extra little bit. So this is going to be a tough matchup, especially if they're going against Kopitar. You know, you got size down the middle on both of those with Matthews and Kopitar. Marner and Kempe may line up against one another in terms of them both being right wingers, but if they're facing off against one another, this could be Alex Laferriere's task, and you're going to have to skate. You're going to have to skate with Marner, so it's going to be tough for sure. Second line, you got McMahon with Holmberg and Nylander. Of course, William Nylander is going to be the leader of this line, even though he's not the centerman. Usually the center drives the play, but Nylander is going to be the guy that's really going to kind of help carry this line offensively. And if you're putting him out there with Danault and Moore, he might find his chances. He might, let's just put it this way. He's going to slalom all day. He's going to go out there and he's just going to use his legs and his scoring touch to make it difficult. This is what I might actually match up the Byfield, Fiala, Fogle line with this line, only because you might catch him a little bit. Speed burst from Quentin Byfield might be able to neutralize William Nylander a little bit. Again, Trevor Moore can do that. It just depends on who they roll out. But to me, just looking at this line, I actually think that the BFF line, as I've heard people call it, the BFF line, I think could have a good chance matching up with this one. The third line, you've got Pacioretty with Domi and Robertson. Again, to the point, you maybe want to set your lineup to cater to what the opposition is throwing you. And I think Max Domi versus Phil Danault is that complementary piece down the middle that's maybe the matchup you want to go with Phil Danault. Because that's going to be tough. Pacioretty, the veteran, Robertson, the young scorer. You know, if we're doing apples to apples, it's like, okay, you got Domi and Danault. Danault, I think, overrides Domi. I'm not just saying that as a Kings fan. I think Danault overrides Domi. You got Trevor Moore with Nick Robinson. Trevor Moore, for sure, he's a little older. He knows his scoring abilities and the right times to take them. And then with Max Pacioretty and Tanner Jeannot, I'll give the veteran experience to Max Pacioretty. But if Pacioretty is the guy that's kind of the third man on this line and Tanner Jeannot's the third guy on his line, in terms of play away from the puck, I would keep your head up if I was Max Pacioretty. So this is where I'm saying I think that the Kings would actually be smart rolling out Phil Danault with Trevor Moore and Tanner Jeannot on this line. I am recording this video early, so this is, again, pending any potential injuries. So I'm just saying, just as a little asterisk there. And then you've got Lawrence with Kampf and Ryan Reeves. The fourth line for the Kings may need to make an adjustment in this game. If you're going to roll out Andre Lee, Trevor Lewis, that makes sense. My big eye opener on this line is Ryan Reeves. I don't want to put Akil Thomas or Alex Turcotte in a position to go out there and get whacked. So put out the big body Andre Lee and make sure Andre Lee just shadows Ryan Reeves all night. I don't care if that means Andre Lee doesn't have a shot on goal. I don't care if that means some of his other responsibilities go out the window. That is your number one priority in this game. Watch Ryan Reeves like a hawk. Stick to him like glue. Okay? You're going to be a shadow defender is what I call. I always use that term, shadow defender. That means that you need to be his shadow the whole game. A glue defender. Stick to him like glue. I do not care if you end up with a -10 in this game. If you keep Ryan Reeves from going after either Akil Thomas or Alex Turcotte and they walk away from this game unscathed, you did your job. I don't care if you end up with the worst statistical game of your life. Andre Lee, do not let Ryan Reeves out of your sight, okay? So, and the same thing goes for you, Trevor Lewis. You got to do the same thing. If Andre Lee bites and ends up away from Ryan Reeves at some point, Lewis, give up your responsibility and go shadow Ryan Reeves. I do not want to see either Turcotte or Thomas injured from this game because 75 decided to go headhunting or just make some tough battles, okay? I shouldn't say headhunting because I don't want to, I don't want to imply anything. I'm just I'm trying to exaggerate the physical element that could be there, okay? So let's keep an eye on 75. That's all I'm saying. So we'll go to the defense. We got Morgan Rielly with Chris Tanev. Solid defensive presence, veteran presence. Not going to be easy for the top defensive pairing to match up with that. Then you got Ekman Larson with McCabe and Benoit and Timmins. I think that Oliver Ekman Larson playing, with Florida was a good fit for him because he could kind of bounce between the second and third pair. And I thought that there was other pieces in front of him on their defense that could kind of allow Oliver Ekman Larson to just play his game. I'm not sure if the Maple Leafs have that here. And I think Oliver Ekman Larson might have to be playing up a step. So do I think that he's capable? Of course. It's OEL, okay? But at the same time, at this stage in his career, I would expect him to not be asked to do all of that. I think that he'd be better off in a third pairing role as the fifth defenseman. But they might lean on him a little bit more, and for that reason, maybe the Kings might have an advantage there. That's just me spitballing, just saying. So I'm not taking anything away from Oliver Ekman Larson. Like I said, veteran for sure, knows the game. He can make the Kings' life hell. But that's maybe at least one thing I would keep an eye on with their defensive pairings. First power play unit, you got Pacioretty with Nylander, Marner, Matthews, and Morgan Rielly. Putting out all the top guys there, that's really, really not going to be easy. So the Kings defense, going back to, the whole 1-2-2 thing and all that. I mean, I think the Kings penalty kill unit is going to be fine. I'm not too worried about that, but here's my cautionary tale. If you give up a goal to this power play unit, Okay. Like, okay, I wouldn't expect you not to. They've got all their heavy hitters out there. This is not a cakewalk. This is so if you give up a goal to this power play unit, okay, like just take a deep breath. It ain't nothing. You went out there against power play guys, okay? This is a power play unit. So maybe try and limit the penalties, maybe try to avoid getting yourself into that situation. But if it happens and you give up a goal, it's not the end of the world. Okay, it's not. This is what this unit was designed to do. Score on the power play. Second power play unit, you've got Nyes with Domi, McCann, OEL, and Nick Robertson. Probably not as maybe offensively producing as the first power play unit, but they can still score for sure. Oliver Ekman-Larsson knows how to move the puck. Robertson, a young scorer. Domi, if he finds the right position down low or around the net, he can clean up rebounds. Nyes, we know, can score. There's options here. I'm not saying that they can't put up a couple goals on the Kings here if they get on the power play, but I'm just saying that if I'm more worried about the top power play unit or the second power play unit, definitely the top one, but still got to keep an eye on both power play units if I'm the Kings. First penalty kill unit, you've got Comp with Marner, McCabe, and Tanev. Marner out there more to get a hand on the puck and get it down the length of the ice for a clearing. Everybody else, stout, tough. This is a penalty kill unit too. So the Kings, if you end up on the power play, you might have to move the puck around a little bit before you get your shot. But that's kind of also been a thing with the Kings lately is they move the puck really well, but they don't shoot at the right time, or they're maybe not putting enough shots on net. They maybe will make that extra pass. At a certain point, just shoot. But with that penalty kill unit out, I think you'd be fine in terms of moving the puck around. But at a certain point, just take your shots. Second penalty kill unit, you've got Holmberg with Lorentz, OEL, and Benoit. So I do think that the first penalty kill unit for Toronto is probably a little bit better, but you may not get this matchup. I have a feeling that Toronto, with their penalty kill units, they might be a little bit more willing to experiment and put different guys out there. So I don't see Austin Matthews listed in their penalty kill unit, but he can win faceoffs. He's a big body guy. He might be out there. So that's all I'm saying. So this lineup is a good projection. It's not final. So, yeah, again, it could change. So make sure that you're keeping that in mind too. Goaltenders, you got Stolars and Hildeby. I think the big glaring mark against Toronto for the last couple of years has been their goaltending. Okay, like I don't want to be rude, but that's been the big hang up for Toronto over the last couple of years. So Stolars or Hildeby, I'm going to ride with Kemper or Rittich if I have the choice of any of the four goaltenders. Not to take anything away from Stolars or Hildeby. So they could watch. They end up having a shutout, okay? But the point is that maybe this isn't the last line of defense. Maybe you can expose the goaltender at the right time if you get your shots. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Stolars or Hildeby. I don't want to sound like a jerk. I'm just saying that I'd be far more nervous if I had to play against this defense and then shoot on a Shesterkin or a Hellebuck, something like, but I'm going to take my chances if I'm the Kings. If I get a shot, I'm going to take my shot. And then at the bottom there, you can see the injuries. Joseph Wallace on injured reserve. Dewar is day-to-day, and Tavares is day-to-day. That does mean that Tavares could check into this game, or Dewar could. But again, we're going to lean on this projection to kind of say this is what we're going to be offered. I think the most dangerous part for the Toronto Maple Leafs is their first power play unit. So the Kings, again, avoid taking penalties. But if you take one, you give up a goal to this unit, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, but this is definitely the big highlight moment for Toronto, is to get on the power play, put their first power play unit out there. So this is where they're going to make their coin for the night. For the Kings, this is what you got to avoid. Should be a good game. Should be an entertaining game. With Toronto, it is always entertaining. So the Kings are going to go into town, have a good matchup on their hands. Could be one of those games where it's maybe 4-2, something like that, either team. But we'll have to see how it plays out. But either way, my name is Keith Freeze. Thank you for checking out this video. Good luck to the LA Kings. And as always, go Kings, go.